Goals do not make you financially free. Systems do. Goals are just the target for you, and systems are the machine that allows you to actually hit that target. That's what we're going to be going over in today's live training and office hours. And then I'm going to answer any and all of your questions afterwards that you have, especially if you have specific bottlenecks or issues in your current business that you're looking to grow past. So this is a two-part training where part one is going to be focused on the overall process of goal setting and systems thinking, systems training overall. And then part two is going to be specifically what are the three core systems that you need to learn, implement, and execute consistently to actually achieve financial freedom through real estate. Today, what we're going to really focus on is the overall goals and systems creation process and understanding the three key real estate systems so that you can hit the ground running for the next training and hit the ground running to achieve your financial freedom goals in 2026. So by the end of this call, my goal is that you will understand the exact 5 steps to actually hit your financial freedom goals in 2026. What you'll also see is how I have personally used these steps to go from 0 rentals to over 200 doors in less than 5 years. In 2020, my 5-year plan was very simple. I wanted 5 properties, right? 1 property a year through house hacking. I was going to buy a property that was 1 or 2 to 4 units, live in 1 unit, rent out the others. So 5 properties, 1 every single year, would total 15 total units in 5 years and generate me $7,500 a month of cash flow. That was my dream. If I could have achieved that starting in 2020, that was my goal. That was my process. 5 properties, 1 a year, generate me $7,500 a month of cash flow by the end of year 5, never have to work again a single day in my life. What I did not expect was that by the 5-year mark, now in 2025, I've already crossed over 100 units, nearing 200 plus rental units because of the systems that I built and executing those things. So the real thing I want you to understand is that you're going to have a goal. You're going to clearly define a goal, but then you're also going to iterate and improve your goal because you're going to continue learning and executing more and more things you're going to learn more, do more, learn more, right? Through your experience, through other people, through connections, and then you're going to improve and fast track your path. But I needed to have my clear goal of 5 properties, 1 a year. This is how I was going to do it. This is what I was going to achieve. These were the numbers. And this is what I want to help you do as much as possible today so that we can actually implement the right systems in your real estate business that will allow you to achieve the scalability and success that you're looking for in the time frame that you're looking for. That's a big one. That's a big reason why my path has shifted so much, because my original path for real estate didn't really come about as a path for real estate. It was truly, how can I become financially free? And for me, it just means, how could I make more money each and every month than I need to spend so that I never have to work for someone else? Does that mean I was going to stop working? No, I'm definitely a worker bee. I like to work, but I like to work on things I care about. I like to work on the timelines. I like to work on them, right? When I want to work, for how long I want to work on that, with the people I want to work with. For me, it's controlling what I work on and when I work on it and with who I'm working on it with, I guess. My goal wasn't to retire early and never work again. My goal is to have more money coming in every month than we spend. So I never was a slave to money. There's a phrase which is basically, money is a horrible master. You do not want money to be your master. But the thing on top of that, like the next level of that is, but money is an essential tool for you to be able to live the lifestyle that you want without ever having to work for someone else, right? Like, well, actually, let's even scratch that. It's not even about financial freedom. Money is a necessity to do anything you want in life. That's just the reality of it. That's the world that we live in today. You're not hunting and foraging for your food and all that. We are doing work, receiving money for it, and then you are using that money to buy the things that you want or live the life that you want. Without money, you cannot achieve literally anything that you want in life, unfortunately, unless you have a very, 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 like, I don't even know. It's such an extreme example of who could live the life that they want with literally no money at all. It's just not realistic. So it's never been about money as my master. Money is the main driver for me. It's always been about, how can I earn enough and then have it consistently come in so that I never have to work again for someone else. I always work for myself and I'll work on the things that I care about. I think a lot of people that I talk to, this is not an issue. They actually want to continue working, which is why I've still not chosen to retire, but I work on the timelines that I choose to work on, and I balance my day with the amount of family time and working on the things that I care about to actually achieve those goals. So with that being said, most people will not achieve their goals because they might have an arbitrary goal or they're trying to copy someone else's goal. They're really aiming without really defining why are they even aiming for this goal, nor do they have the systems in place to actually execute on those goals. I don't know the specific quote. I'm like the worst with quotes, but basically the concept is that you do not rise to your goals, you fall to your systems. Goals are, hey, I want to have 10 properties. Systems are, what is my exact process for buying deals to then be able to stack enough properties to then achieve this goal of 10 properties owned? And I'm even going to go dive deeper into why a lot of people set very arbitrary goals and how you could be head and shoulders above the majority, like head and shoulder above the majority, because you're going to set more clear goals that are actually in alignment with what you want to do, what you want your life to look like, not just someone said, I want $100,000 a month of cash flow. Great. You want $1.2 million of cash flow every month. I want that for you. But let's actually tether your goals to reality, make it realistic, not a realistic number, but realistic based on your actual expenses or the lifestyle that you want to live. And then let's create the systems to allow you to not just do the deals, but then scale as much as possible. That is why with my goal and my systems to buy 5 deals in 5 years, that's why I was able to surpass that, like insanely so, because I built the right systems that were scalable, that allowed me to achieve the financial freedom that I wanted to in a much quicker time frame that I wanted to. I achieved my 5-year goal in 13 months because of the systems, but then I've scaled and grown that so massively because of those same systems that I continue implementing, and I continue growing and scaling as much as I desire to, right? And it becomes easier and easier throughout this journey. That's a big part of the systems as well. When you're starting out, you're just figuring it all out. That's why I share so much of this stuff with you guys, because 5 years ago, I literally owned 0 real estate. 5 years ago, or like 5, 6, 7 years ago, it was my path to financial freedom was not, I was going to own real estate and become financially free through cash flow and build wealth through appreciation and debt paid out. Like that was not even on my radar. 5 years ago, or let's say 10 years ago, because I was in college and studying, my goal was to become a doctor. My original goal was to earn a bunch of money and somehow that'd make me financially free. I was just going to earn a lot and then become financially free and have more money coming in each month that I need to spend. Well, then I started learning about the FIRE movement, financial independence, retire early movement. And the idea was earn as much as you can, as quickly as you can, save the majority of it, invest it in stocks, and over a long enough period of time, that would allow you to grow that portfolio to a couple $1 million. And you can pull from that as much as, or you could pull a certain amount of that every single year, 4% of that every year, and be able to retire. That was great. But what that required me to do is shift from the doctor mindset to earning a lot after 10 years of education to earning as much as I possibly could through the route of engineering, which is why I shifted to engineering. Then with the stock market investing, great. I wanted to do this, but the math was there to get me financially free, but the timeline was not in alignment with what I wanted to do. It was going to take me decades of like saving and investing a vast majority of my income to be able to be financially free at 60 plus years old. I didn't want that timeline. I wanted all of this done faster, and I wanted to work harder in a shorter period of time to achieve those results, which is why I decided, okay, stock investing is great. It's the path for the vast majority of people who do not want to work harder, who do not want to take control of their investing, who are open to the markets and inflation and the president and the Fed chair and tariffs and what all these other things to dictate how their path to financial freedom was, like the timeline for their financial freedom, because it's dependent on the returns on the stock market. Well, I didn't want that much control in someone else's hands. I wanted the control and I wanted to do it faster, which is why I pivoted to real estate investing. I mean, that's really what it was. Real estate was the thing that made the most sense to me because I learned from the doctoral engineering route, it was not active income that would allow me to get financially free. And the stock market was a great path to do so for the majority who wanted to be as passive as possible if they were willing to save and invest for a long enough period of time. But that wasn't my plan. I wanted to get there as quickly and efficiently as possible. And real estate allowed me to have that level of control and a reliable process and path that would allow me to basically do this. Like I knew what I could do. There was like steps behind it. And I'm going to break that down because the very first thing I had to do then was reverse engineer what financial freedom through real estate looked like. Like I said, for stocks, you earn money, you save a lot of it, you invest it, and then it compounds and grows over decades. And then you eventually have a couple $1,000,000 that you can pull 4% from. That's a fine path for people who want to do that. That definitely was not my path. The majority of you, if not all of you watching this, either A, you're realizing that definitely isn't the path you want, or B, you've already committed that there's no way in hell that you're going to be doing this for 40 plus years to then be able to spend $30,000 a year at that point when you're retired. No, I want to enjoy my entire life. And that meant becoming financially free as quickly and effectively as possible, the reliable path. What I do want to clarify for you is that some people become financially free through creating a business or a startup, or they invested in Bitcoin 10 years ago, or they bought Dogecoin at the right time, or Nvidia, or whatever, right? There's these one-off examples of people who have gotten insanely wealthy through a lucky investment. The reason why I never cared for stuff like that, not to say I don't invest in little things like that, the reason why I never dedicated my path to financial freedom based on strategies like that, because those get-rich-quick schemes tend to result in far more people that lose money than actually earn money. And those that earn money through that have a very hard time. Like it's not repeatable. I can't just say, oh, someone bought Bitcoin 10 years ago. I wish I can go back 10 years and buy Bitcoin when it was a couple $100 versus $100,000, right? Like you can't repeat that. That's where stock market is great, because it happens. Like it literally, just look over the last 100 years, that consistently will grow. But more importantly, real estate is much more proven, and over a longer period of time, properties appreciate, rent increases, your debt's getting paid down. The maths, it all makes logical sense. There's so many examples of so many wealthy people that have done so through real estate. And it's something I can define a process and system for that was more than just earn money, save it, invest it. It was investing in the right assets and we'll get more into that. So once I chose real estate, it was really, how do I become financially free? And that was reverse engineering my financial freedom path to real estate. If you've watched any of my trainings, please feel free to take advantage of all the free trainings I give away in my free Wealth Through Real Estate community. I believe there's a link below this video right now. But basically, the great part about real estate is it just makes a lot of mathematical sense. There's systems and there's math that clearly lay out the path. It doesn't mean that everything is going to be simple and easy to do, but there is a path, and it's really not as complicated as everyone else tries to make it seem. I think people do so. A lot of these educators and gurus do so. They make it seem extremely difficult and hard and all these extra words and like it's like, great. I think they're just doing that to make it more difficult to feel the need to sell you something. And I'm not saying I don't coach. I coach. I have my CoLiving community. I have my super investors to help real estate investors scale. I have my own offers. However, I think the majority of this information, the reason why I give so much of this stuff away that people charge thousands, if not tens of thousands of dollars for, is I think I want to just completely change the entire landscape of those who are willing to put in the work to actually achieve the success they want through real estate. The main thing is I'm not worried about competition. I'm not worried about other people. I want to help as many people do so as possible. The majority of what I do is completely for free. Just check out all the free courses and tools and resources I provide on YouTube and my Wealth Through Real Estate community. But I'm doing all that to help you guys. I want you guys to achieve massive success in your investing journeys. There's no fear of competition or anything like that, honestly, because most people, A, don't have clear goals. Then they don't have the clear systems to achieve those goals. And then once they have the systems, they're not willing to execute long enough to achieve the results. So I think humans themselves, for the vast majority of people, won't do it anyway. For those of you that are willing to learn, invest, take action, I want you to succeed. And I want you to know everything that I wish I knew 5 years ago when I started out. The last couple of years, I continue to grow and scale. That's why I put so much of this stuff out there. So what took me a long time was to really figure out, well, what is the path to financial freedom through real estate? I give a ton of trainings on that, but basically, very simply, is you need to generate cash flow in your properties. I need properties that are generating me cash flow. They make me more money each and every month than I am spending on that property, right? I am profiting money at the end of each month than I am spending on that investment. That's the simplest way to define cash flow. Once you have enough of that stacked, let's say $1,000 a property, you have enough of those stacked, 10 properties, $1,000 each, $10,000. If your spending is less than $10,000, you are financially free through real estate. So very simply, what do you need to be financially free through real estate? You need to own cash flowing assets, properties that generate you more money than you spend every month. Great. To buy cash flowing assets, what do you need to do? Well, if I want to own those assets, I need to, if I want to own those assets, generate cash flow, I need to actually own those assets, which means I need to close on investment properties, be the buyer, be the owner of those properties. To do that, that means I need to put properties under contract, right? You cannot buy and own something unless you put it under contract. In the middle of that is you need to do your due diligence and fund the investment so you can actually close on it and own it, right? So cash flowing assets is the end goal, and stacking a bunch of those. You need to close on those assets. You need to fund those investments so you can actually buy those deals, whether it's debt, other people's money, your money, whatever it is. You need to put those properties under contract. To put them under contract, you need to have deals that are worth putting under contract, right? You need to be able to analyze and determine which deals should you put under contract. And to put deals under contract, you need to analyze them and then put offers out there, which then means to put offers out on deals that you've analyzed, you need to have, you're going to be looking at investments. So if I just was to summarize that very simply, you need to own and operate high cash flowing assets by funding them and closing on them. And then to know what properties you should fund and close, you need to know how to find, analyze, and put deals under contract. You put them under contract, you fund and close them, and then you operate them successfully. When I broke it down into kind of those steps, it became very easy in a sense, because to own an asset, I need to go through this process every single time. There's going to be lots of variation every time, but this is the process I need to follow every single time to then be able to buy a high cash flowing asset that then generates me enough cash flow collectively to become financially free, right? Maybe I didn't explain that very well, but you need to have deals, money, and the operations to have cash flowing assets that allow you to become financially free by generating you cash flow. So I mapped this entire thing out when I was starting out to the best of my ability. At that point, I didn't have connections. I didn't have network. I was reading books and podcasts and all that stuff. I was piecing it together. But when you take a step back, it's very easy, in my opinion, it's very easy to just kind of think through these steps, and it makes a lot of logical sense. The problem is people are constantly distracting you, shiny objects. They are like, there is so much noise and so much fluff out there. It is completely making the journey to financial freedom through real estate more difficult than it needs to be. I'm not saying it's very easy. You're going to have to learn, you have to invest, you're going to have to get mentorship, guidance, connections, all that good stuff. However, the process in itself is very simple. You're just leveraging education and mentorship to just improve the process, make it easier, learn from other people's mistakes, and then plug and play other people's systems if you choose to, right? I did it for the longest time until I started really scaling and joined the Sub 2 community with my mentor, Pace Morby. So that being said, you're going to need 5 steps, right? And now we're going to integrate into actually goal setting for financial freedom through real estate, right? Or just in general. Like, it really doesn't matter how you implement this, but obviously for me, my goal is to help you be financially free, ideally by the end of 2026. If it takes longer, so what? I'm not the type of person that defines my results based on timelines as much, right? It's part of my SMART goals, but in reality, I'm focused more on what actions do I need to do? Am I implementing them? And am I getting the results that I want? Less so on how long is it taking me to do so. So I shared with you my journey to an extent so you can understand what really shifted for me so that you can execute it for yourself in the 5 steps that you're going to need in essence. And then we'll talk about the 3 systems you're going to need for real estate, but the 5 steps that you're going to need and the tools and resources I have for you to be able to do so are: step 1, you need to choose a very clear 5-year target. I need you to choose a destination, not a fantasy. Like, I need you to choose a very specific target with real numbers and ideally a somewhat realistic timeline. You don't want to waste too much of your time trying to pursue things that don't actually make a lot of logical sense. And for me, it's like, how are you going to know what that is? Well, it's really going to depend on you. I do know that a lot of people focus on having an extremely clear, they tell you to choose your 5-year target. Let's just say a 5-year target. They choose you. A lot of people just copy other people's goals, other people's targets. For example, I'm going to have $100,000 of cash flow every single month, or I'm going to own 1,000 rental units, or that's one phase of it where I think people go wrong. They have these like random goals that are not in alignment with what they actually want. What is the lifestyle that they want to be living? And then other people will tell you have to get so clear on this goal, when in reality, for me in particular, it's very hard. I don't know if you've heard someone say, if you want to achieve this goal, it's very imperative for you that you can clearly, like, you close your eyes and clearly define what is the exact house that you want. What's the paint color? What about the car in the driveway? What is the car? How many do you have? Do you have a pool in the backyard? Do you have animals? Are you buy water? That shit is so hard for me. Like, I'm not here to say, just copy someone else's goals like a lot of people do, especially these unrealistic goals of people who have not actually achieved the results that you want. They just are saying goals that they heard or sound fancy or nice, like 100 properties or whatever. Or I'm not telling you to get so crystal clear on a vision where you have to like perfectly know where you're going to live, the house and all that stuff, because I'm not very good at either. I don't want to copy people who haven't done the thing the way that I wanted to, or they have not done the thing that they're telling me. Like, I'm not copying someone who has done a thing, who has not even done the thing that they're talking about, right? But also, you don't need to have such a crystal clear vision of exactly what you want. In my opinion, there's a great balance in between, which was for me, tether it to a financial goal. If you want to live a life, hey, this is the state that I want to live in. I know I'm going to spend, like I currently spend, let's say you currently spend $5,000 a month, but so you're going to need $5,000 a month to come in from your portfolio to be financially free. Great. That's a great starting target, not a random 100,000 or whatever. Or if you say, hey, this is a great lifestyle right now at 5,000 a month, but I know that I want to have a bigger house, more cars. That's going to cost me an extra $10,000 a month. Plus I want an extra $10,000 a month for travel and leisure and eating out. Great. So you're 5,000 plus the 10,000 for the house and car, plus the 10,000 for travel and all that extra fluff. Great. Now you have a $25,000 target, right? You want $25,000 a monthly cash flow by the end of 5 years, so you never have to work again for someone else. You can live your existing lifestyle and then live it at a much higher, more beautiful version of it at that point at $25,000, right? 5 times more than you're currently spending. Great. For me, that's good enough. Maybe that's me as an engineer, science-minded over an artsy visual person. But for me, that's how I set my goal. How much do I need to replicate my income so I know I can cover all my expenses? And then what would my ideal life look like? I mentioned my goal was $7,500 a month in cash flow when I started out. We were spending around $5,000 at the time, living in Alaska. And then if you count for house hacking, it was even less than that. But $5,000 was close to the expenses. $7,500 was even more than I was. And then I wanted $20,000 as my crazy goal. Like, this is the thing that I don't even know what I would spend $250,000 a year tax-free on, but that's my crazier goal that I want in the end of 5 years. Okay. Hopefully that provides you some guidance, because I know a lot of people get extremely stuck in regards to, I don't have a crystal clear vision and I'm just pursuing other people's goals. Tether it to your own goals. Then it's reverse engineer the math, right? If you want that lifestyle, right, you've got the vision of the life that you want to a high extent, then you know it'll roughly cost you, let's say $25,000 a month, right, of cash flow. Let's start working backwards. How many properties would you need to own to allow you to achieve that goal? For those of you who are super investors or doing co-living investing, great. I will give you a target of $1,000 a month per property, right, of cash flow, because that's what I'm looking for my deals. Well, actually, I'm looking for $1,500 or more, and we're primarily getting properties over $2,000 or more cash flow. But let's say $1,000 of cash flow, and if you want $25,000, great. You need 25 of those properties to be financially free, and you have a 5-year target for that. So you're either going to buy 5 a year, you're going to buy 1 your first year, 5 the next year, and whatever that path looks like, just get yourself some type of path. Understand that it's going to completely change. Remember, my goal was $7,500 a month. buying one property a year, small multifamily, and I completely blew that out of the water. Within 13 months, I achieved my financial freedom cash flow. And then in 5 years, I've that massively surpassed what I even anticipated then, or even what my crazy goal was at the time of the 20K. So step one, choose a clear 5-year target and make it based on what kind of life you actually want to live. Don't copy other people's stuff. Part two is reverse engineer the math, right? Like, how much cash flow would you need to live that lifestyle that you're looking for currently in that ideal lifestyle, and how many properties would it take, assuming you're getting $1,000 a month of cash flow? If you're watching my content, you should be learning co-living as much as possible. It's the main thing I teach you guys to invest in, so you understand that cash flow is very realistic for co-living investments. Then third, we're defining that process, right? And we already did that earlier. We literally just said that the path to owning high cash flowing assets is to own the property that generates you cash flow. You have to own the asset. To own the asset, you're going to have to actually close on the investment. To close on the investment, you're going to have to fund it. To fund it, you're going to have to first and foremost put under contract. To put under contract, you have to make an offer. To make offers, you're going to have to analyze deals to make sure they're good deals. To be able to analyze deals, you need to have investment properties coming your way so that you can analyze those deals. So you get properties, right? So now we reverse engineer it. Let's work towards that again. We've got properties that we're analyzing that fit within our buy box. We're analyzing those, identifying the great deals. We're making offers on those. Those offers that get accepted, we have under contract. We're doing our due diligence and funding those deals. We're closing on those investments. If you need to renovate, furnish, whatever that property, and then get it rented, now you're generating cash flow in your investment. That's the laid out path for you, right? That's the overall process, but there's systems for each and every one of these. What you need to understand is when you define that process, what exactly do you need to do to make that math real? What are the specific tasks that you need to be doing? Well, great. If you're a real estate investor, I basically gave it to you. There's more nuance and more details than that, but that is the gist of it. And I break these down more so, and I'll break this down more in the part 2 training. But what are those activities that you need to do? What are the skills that you need to build? What do you need to repeatedly do over and over again to own those assets generating you cash flow? What is that process? Well, then it's the systems, right? A process is great, but what is the system? Your system is basically the engines that drive everything. It is I know if I do this, I'll get more of this to then end up with this result, right? That is your system broadly. That was a terrible way to explain it, but basically you're going to need 3 key systems to be successful as a real estate investor, especially if your goal is to grow and scale, not just do a one-off property. And I tell people this all the time. I'm not here to help you, especially if someone joins Super Investors, I'm not here to help you buy one deal as quickly as possible. I'm here to help you build the foundations and implement the right systems so that you can continue buying as many properties as you want that are high cash flow generating, that are using little to none of your own money, that are generating you a ton of money using little to none of your own money. That's the goal. So you can successfully do that over and over and over again until you decide, I've got enough. I don't need to continue pursuing this. I've got my 10,000, my 20,000, whatever. I'm going to live my life doing whatever I want, whether it is real estate, whether it is education, whether it is cleaning up beaches or hanging out with your family, whatever that looks like. So the systems that you're going to need, the 3 key systems that we're going to break down in the part 2 training are, you need a system for deals, right? You need a system to be able to say, I'm going to get deals in my inbox, to then be able to analyze them, to then be able to make offers on them and put them under contract. That's the deal system. You need to put deals under contract, and to put deals under contract, you need to make sure it's the right deals that you're putting under contract. Then you need the ability to be able to fund those deals, whether it's debt, whether it's other people's money, whether it's your money, whether it's creative financing, whatever the combination of those things is the funding piece. You need the deals, then the money. Once you close on the investment, you have the great deal and you fund it, you close on it, you need to then execute your operations. You have to renovate and furnish it, right? You got to do those things. And then you need to get it managed, right? Listed and managed, so it's actually bringing you the income, and that income is then what generates your cash flow. So your 3 key systems in real estate, the 3 key buckets of systems that I have in my real estate investment business are deals, money, and operations. Hopefully that breaks it down to some extent, right? We talked about the 4 key steps to setting goals that you'll actually achieve. And it starts with choosing your target. What is the life that you want to live? Reverse engineering the math so it makes sense for you, understanding the math behind it. If you want $7,500 a month of cash flow or $10,000 a month of cash flow, okay, well, if each property, if your lifestyle will require you to have $10,000 a month coming in every month, great. You've got your target. It's even better when you can tether it to like, what are you going to use that money for? But if you're not crystal clear, don't worry. I was not crystal clear at 24 years old what I wanted my life to look like, the house I wanted to live in and all that. As I was active duty military in Alaska, I couldn't even envision the type of house and the cars. I didn't care for that stuff. When people told me to think through that and visualize that, I thought that was bullshit, because why does that even matter in the grand scheme of things if I know that a great lifestyle could be achieved for me at that point, $7,500 a month, for you $10,000, for others 20 plus thousand, whatever that looks like. Set that as your goal. You can adjust as you go. I may not want the white picket fence in the future. I may want whatever the hell it is. Who cares? I don't even know how much I wanted a pool, and I'm grateful we have a pool now. So don't go too crazy on this. Just think of the amount of capital that you will need coming in cash flow to live the ideal life that you want. The more clear you get on it, honestly, the better, but don't waste all your time and energy trying to get crystal clear on that. Step 1, choose your 5-year target and determine how much money you would need to achieve that. 2 is reverse engineer the math. Assuming $1,000 a monthly cash flow, how many properties would you need to then have that goal cash flow target? So if there's that many properties, okay, over the next 5 years or 3 years or 1 year, how many properties will you need to buy to then achieve that goal, right? Reverse engineering the math. Then defining the process, as we talked about. Deals come in, analyze, offers, under contract, do your due diligence, fund it, close on it, renovate it, furnish it, list it, rent it out, do your operations to then have cash flow coming in. Great. We've defined the process. Of that process, what areas do you not understand? Where do you need to develop your skills? Where do you need to either invest more time or money into developing those skills? And then what actions do you need to take to actually execute on that process? And that's the system then, is clearly defining your process into its respective buckets. Like I told you, the 3 core buckets are deals, money, and operations. Those systems are what are going to turn your actions into results. The problem is, for the majority of people, they set a goal, but they don't have a process, or they have a process, but it's not scalable because they don't have real systems. Well, part 5 of this, right? Target, math, process, systems. Part 5 is extreme ownership. I don't know how to phrase this nicely, but I have too many people that reach out to me all the time that say they have this goal, they have this vision, they want the result, but they're not putting in the work, or they're not acknowledging that all of the work is dependent on them. At the very end of the day, everything starts and ends with you. No one else can do this for you, and they definitely cannot execute the process or systems for you. At a certain point, you're going to grow and scale your business where you can hire people, but for the vast majority of people, you cannot do that in the beginning, and no one can do a lot of this core stuff unless it's you. Your actions have to match your goals. If they do not, nothing will happen. That's where the process and the system makes it easier, because you're not just saying, I want 10 properties in 5 years. You are saying, I want 10 properties to produce $10,000 a month of cash flow. I'm going to do so by buying properties that generate me $1,000 a month of cash flow each. I'm going to need 10 properties over 5 years. That's 2 properties a year. Here's the process to get those deals, own them, operate them. And here's the systems that I have for each part of this process, focusing on the core 3 buckets: deals, money, operations, so that now you can take extreme ownership and execute those very specific steps and systems that you need to do to get everything done. At the end of the day, you can have the perfect goals, the perfect math, the perfect process, the perfect systems, but none of that works unless you work. You cannot achieve any of your goals unless you are willing to put in the work for it. And for me, a big part of this is taking extreme ownership, not necessarily just of the results. That's great, right? To take extreme ownership of the results, but more importantly, it's of the actions that you need to do to achieve your goals. For example, my extreme ownership is not how many deals did I buy. My extreme ownership is focused on how many people did I talk to generate more deals? How many of those deals did I analyze? How many of those were good deals and I made offers on them? How many of those that were good deals and made offers on, how many of those did we get under contract? I can control that someone has accepted my offer, right? But I can control getting deals, analyzing them, making offers. And then once we have deals under contract, am I doing the proper due diligence? Am I doing everything I need to fund it? Once I close on it, am I doing everything I need to renovate it on budget, on time, generating me my cash flow that I need, right, on that property? I'm focused on the actions I need to do, not just on the results. The results are what generate you the cash flow and get you the actual financial freedom, but those results don't come in unless you're putting in the work, you're doing the actions. Your results in the future are completely dependent on your choices and actions today. There is literally a complete trade-off of every single thing that you are doing. Every single action that you take is at the cost of another action. You need to say, I am in full control of my actions. So what am I going to choose to do with this time? I say this because I understand a lot of you, like I was as well, get very stuck in not having a clear process, not having a clear system. You are maybe doing the thing by joining Zooms and listening to podcasts and doing all these other things, but it's not generating you the results that you want, because if you look back, the actions that you're taking are not leading you towards your results. They are great to learn and whatever, but you do not want to get stuck in that learning loop where you're not actually taking the right actions to achieve your results, which are clear now, which should be clear now for you. If you want a much more detailed training on this, I give it completely away for free in my Wealth Through Real Estate School community. I've got a full, it's part of what I offer to my super investors. I give it away for free in Wealth Through Real Estate so that you can clearly understand financial freedom through real estate, define your actual financial freedom targets based on your current and future budgets, based on your net worth, so you can actually build your roadmap so that you can actually achieve your goals and have that path. So it'll very clearly help you with choosing your target based on the lifestyle that you want and based on your current expenses as well as engineering the math to achieve that goal. Then the process and systems is the stuff that I train on for free and for paid within my communities, as well as part 2 of the training that will come up next week. So I'd love for you guys to join live for that. But at the end of the day, none of it matters unless you take extreme ownership and do the actual actions that you need to do. Once I did these 5 steps and really clarify this and just understood I just have to continue implementing the actions that is necessary for my process and systems to work, everything became very simple. It was not a, what do I need to do? Who do I need to talk to? What Zoom do I need to get on? What video do I like? It was, these are the actions I need to do. If I have a lack of skill, I know exactly why I'm doing that, why I'm learning that, not just chasing random skills and videos arbitrarily, not just chasing random Zoom connections and all that arbitrarily. It's very intentional because it is extremely important for you to understand the most finite resource you have is your time / your energy. Similar concept, your time and energy. If you are dedicating it to the wrong things, that is a choice. I'm not saying stop working for income to pay for your family. That's not what I'm talking about. Do that. Take care of your family through your job and all that. I'm not saying sacrifice time with your family to just pursue this passion or to pursue this path of financial freedom. What I am saying is if you're spending time and energy watching TV or you are doing real estate activities by podcasts, Zooms, and all that, really assess, is that actually leading into your goals, or do you have enough information? You need to start executing, taking extreme ownership of your actions. As I mentioned, what we're going to break down next time is go more into the process and then building the systems for you if your goal is to achieve financial freedom through real estate, right? That's what I teach on. I guess I can teach you how to do it through stocks, but it wasn't my path. And I'll create a whole free course for you if that's what you want to do on how to do that through stocks. It's super easy. But the core systems, deals, money, operations, and the process, which I've stated over and over and over again. What I want to highlight is the proof of these systems. My baby boy was just born. This is my second child. My little boy, Carter Michael Manatskainen, was just born last week. This is my second child. We have an 18-month-old little Mila. The reason why these systems are so important isn't that it not only has allowed me to not just achieve my initial financial freedom goals, then to scale fast, like way past that. But these same systems are the reason why I was able to execute on multiple great deals while I took a step back to spend more and more time with my family. I was fully present with my family for the last week, just nonstop. Now I'm getting back to work a few hours a day. I work from home. It's pretty chill to be a real estate investor full-time, real estate investor educator full-time. It's pretty chill in the grand scheme of things. Definitely not as hard as chemical engineering or being in the military. I guarantee you that. But while I was fully present with my family, the business continued to run and we closed multiple deals. One of which is a phenomenal co-living deal in Dallas. We closed on it. That's going to generate us over $2,250 a month in cash flow. And that's after setting aside $1,200 a month in reserves. Not only did we close on the deal, right, get it funded and close on it, we also were able to start renovations literally the day after closing. We actually even had our contractor there to do the final walkthrough and then do the renovations immediately the day we closed on the property. That was one deal. Adding more to our cash flow and wealth as a deal. At the same time, we also underwrote dozens of deals with the team because we have the clear systems and process for people to analyze and underwrite deals to see which ones are good to pursue versus which ones are not worth pursuing at all. The second deal was a true $0 sub 2 deal. There was a seller who has a property with a 2.99% loan, but he wanted $100,000 up front. I liked his loan, but the deal did not make sense for that. So what we did was have him pull a second mortgage on the property. We're taking both of those over subject to, both the 2.99% loan and the amount that he needed to cover his own income because or the amount that he was looking for up front. But more importantly, he also pulled excess, which we agreed on, to then cover all of the closing costs. It's basically similar to a Morby method, but instead of having transactional lenders and all that other stuff, we just combined the seller's original debt plus new debt that he pulled out to cover his down payment that he was looking for. And he's covering literally every single closing cost, every single fee associated with acquiring this deal, every agent commission, every closing cost, everything. He is paying for it. This is a true $0 sub 2 deal. I have done plenty of deals where we've done $0 sub 2 deals, but it's never truly a full $0 sub 2 deal unless they are covering the closing costs and there's no additional fees associated with it, right? Like there really is no $0 sub 2 unless you do something like this or a Morby method, which I've done those as well. But this is one of the true examples of a $0 sub. Like I literally did not need a single penny to do any part of this process. The seller's covering everything, including our TC costs, like literally everything. That's the second deal that was done during this process. And deal 3 was a $7,000 income profit Morby method transactional loan. We helped the super investor structure and execute a Morby method deal where he's now buying and owning a great co-living asset using literally none of his own money between the bank and the seller finance piece. And we were able to generate $7,000 of profit through temporarily funding the funds needed for the down payment and closing costs for him to get a great deal using none of his own money. And we generate $7,000 in days for bridging that short-term loan gap. All of this was done through having the right systems to be able to execute on this stuff, right? I share real examples, especially in the craziest time of your life is probably when your baby is born. Like it's one of the busiest times. And we still execute on some great deals because of the right process and systems that not just me now, but also the team can execute on. No one can execute in your business unless they have the process and the systems. When you're starting out, like I was for the first several years, you are a solo and entrepreneur. Maybe you get one partner, but you still have to clearly define and understand all of these processes and systems so you can execute on that. We spent a lot of time talking about the foundational stuff, the vision and the vision and goals, and then the math to get there. And if you want more detailed, it's in my Wealth to Real Estate School community. Take advantage of it. And then we're going to talk more about part 2, defining the process and building the systems for real estate investors and going more in depth. But understand none of this matters unless you have clear and extreme ownership of your actions. And you understand that nothing works without extreme ownership. If you want X result, your calendar, which is AKA your actions, need to match your goals. They need to match the process in the steps needed to achieve your goals. If you're not analyzing deals weekly, How are you going to know that you're putting great deals under contract? Right? You don't want to just put random deals under contract. I see plenty of people put bad deals under contract and now they're moving backwards. Even worse, they use their own money or even worse, they use someone else's money. I mean, they're both terrible either way. They are putting bad deals under contract because they're not spending the time analyzing deals. Well, you got to analyze deals to put the right ones under contract, because if you are analyzing deals poorly or not, when you close on it, if it's not pushing you towards your financial freedom goals, it's not generating the cash flow, then what was even the point of all that? Doesn't matter if you got it for free. If you're losing money each month, why are you wasting time and energy on something that's a loser when you could be spending that same time and energy on something that is growing and expanding your ability to become financially free? You are actually owning assets, generating you cash flow, be financially free. It starts with deal analysis. That's why I give a whole free training course on deal analysis away in Wealth Through Real Estate as well. But honestly, for a lot of people, it may or may not be a process or systems problem. I think it is. I think it's a goal, vision, process, systems problem fundamentally. But at the end of the day, if all that is solid, well, then it's an execution problem. You're not doing the things that you need to do. You're not doing the right actions to achieve the results that you're looking for. So with that, next week, what we're going to do is we're going to dive deeper into the process and systems. And I'm going to give you guys some tools and resources, additional tools and resources for steps 3 and 4. But what I need you to do right now is steps 1 and 2. I need you to come prepared for this, for the next session, with understanding what is your financial freedom goal, like what amount that you need and what will that timeline look like. So then you can implement the process and systems to actually achieve that. I decided to do this before the year end as opposed to next year in 2026, because I think it's imperative that you define all this stuff and start taking action even before everyone starts with their New Year's resolutions and all that other stuff. I want you to execute on this stuff beforehand, because it's about to get crazy with the holidays and then the new year, where, you live life. You know exactly how crazy it gets. In my opinion, you are much closer than you think. You need clarity, you need systems, and then you take consistent action. I want to help you develop the path that you can follow so that 2026 is the year that literally changes everything for you. Whether you are just starting out, whether you are scaling, whatever it is, I want that to be the year that you make massive strides towards your financial freedom goals. Okay? With that being said, if you missed it, I'm going to say it one more time. My Wealth Through Real Estate school community has literally free trainings for you that you can hop into and do steps 1 and 2. I'll even make a post later. So keep track of me on social media. I'll make a post later and add it to the description of the 5 steps and the 2 things you need to do, plus the link to be able to do those. But yeah, I mean, I only say all this not only because I struggled with the same thing over the last couple of years when I was starting, when I was scaling, but also because I've helped thousands of investors at this point. Those that are starting, like completely brand new, those that are starting investing, that are working on their first deal, those that are scaling their investing, right? It's a lot of what my super investors is for, is those that are scaling their portfolio. I don't really, this is a clear issue for most people. If it's not this, then it is the next logical step, is that it is clearly an issue for you to take the action because you don't know what actions to take. This all helps you out to do so. On a side note, I am actually going to do something pretty cool because we only had 96 people sign up for the A to Z CoLiving community. I want to get us to 100 people, and then prices are going up for literally everyone else after that point. So with that being said, let me see. I'm going to right now in real time change the pricing. It is already upgraded. It is already at the $197 a month. If you want to learn every single thing that you need, have the clear steps and process everything for generating, like finding, analyzing, operating, whatever, everything about CoLiving, literally A to Z, for only $197 a month, or for only $97 a month, this is literally your last chance. Only 4 people will get access to this. Like, there's literally 4 more people. Everyone else will have to pay a much higher rate. Do I want that for you? No, I want you to pay, the lower rate, but it's ultimately up to you. For those of you that are action takers that are live, you're going to be able to benefit from this. So let me actually in real time update the pricing, and I'll share the link right now. You have to be in my Wealth Through Real Estate community to do so. So I'm going to drop the price literally in real time right now. Boom. And then I'm going to show you exactly how you can access those trainings that we talked about. Share screen. So when you go to Wealth Through Real Estate, when you click that link, you'll go here. You might have to sign up. If you're already part of Wealth Through Real Estate, great. Very easy. Classroom. For you, it's going to look like view as a member. Great. Go to the A to Z co-living community. I give away free trainings and tools. I'm unlocking this stuff to make it free as well. But the VIP package is what you need to be able to get access to the full A to Z co-living community, all the tools and resources. Literally everything I've done to build my entire co-living portfolio is here for you. Plus, like multiple live weekly support calls. I mean, like multiple live calls with my operations team, project manager, deal analysis, all that good stuff is there for you. Click it, unlock with VIP, and you just select this. I just literally dropped the price. You can select this right now. I don't know if I could share like a link. I don't think I can share a link. I can drop this in here if you are part of Wealth of Real Estate. My man, Developing Tycoon, drop your name, brother. He said, we're about to be at 97. I'm literally going to stop this and change the pricing as soon as 4 more people sign up because we're at 96. I wanted 100 founding members. We got to 96. Yes, I dropped the ball. I didn't market. I didn't do Black Friday. I had a baby, right? I had my baby boy Carter. I was not going to spend a bunch of time marketing and advertising and all this other crap for this because this is such an incredible freaking deal where people charge $5,000, $10,000+ for much lower quality of education, tools, resources, and live support than we're offering at a discounted price. Why? Because I want to make this stuff as accessible as possible, but I also need the income coming in for this stuff to pay for the team members to provide you guys the live support that you guys need and to continue reinvesting to tools and resources for you all. Cortez Taylor, my man. Awesome. Thanks, brother. So it's right there for you guys. If you want to sign up, like I said, once we get another 3, we're done. Just to quickly show you, give you a preview of what's inside. Literally everything. I'm telling you, A to Z, A to Z. A to Z, full co-living workbook. Is this sharing this? Great. The entire co-living workbook with all the step-by-step process to implement, with all the tools and resources that we have, the 90-day roadmap, all of it's in there. Every single thing. Then we got all the step-by-step training. It's the building blocks. This is literally your process and your systems that you get to just copy paste in for getting co-living investments and getting extremely clear on that. If you decide it's not the right fit for you long-term, great. There's no contracts. You cancel anytime. You can even keep, you're going to keep all the resources. So take advantage of it. The super investor calculator is in there. Like literally everything is, I can't even, multiple trainings, co-living management strategy, plus multiple live weekly calls for operations, deal analysis, project management that you guys all get, that you get access to as part of the A to Z co-living community. We might have already hit the goal, so I'll change it right now. All right, y'all. I appreciate you. I appreciate you guys being on. If you guys have any questions, let me answer those for you, all right? I said I'd answer some questions, so let's get it. And then I'll go back and if you guys sneak in and there's 103, great. Lucky you. You got in. Okay, so we already have, Devin's in this. He literally said, Devin was one of the first people to join. I've been in other groups. You will not find another group like this, my man. Thank you. And it's literally, we're just getting started. The cool thing is I'm the one doing the actual thing. I'm doing everything. I am quite literally doing everything, right? I'm not selling you stuff or sharing stuff based on AI, based on what I think is catchy or trendy, like a lot of other people are doing right now. They're just selling information to hope that it works. These are the things that we are actively doing. Our tools, our systems, our resources, our team members, our contractors, our every spreadsheet, everything in there are freaking, when you have a property, here's the flyers you put in your property as part of the operations, like literally everything, because I'm doing it. We're literally doing it. And if I'm not the one that's doing all the renovations, great. My project manager is there to answer your questions. We just had the first session for the project management training, or project management support call. It was incredible. People got real-time support. Hey, I'm looking at this property. I'm trying to figure out how many bedrooms and bathrooms can be added to this property, what you think about the design. Great. Now let's move into the analysis, which is another training. Let's analyze this deal so that we know how much income can we generate. Is this a great deal? Literally, it's all there. My man, literally, I love all these positive comments. You guys are so awesome. Joining, yada, yada. I got you guys. I appreciate you. All right. So with that being said, let's answer some questions. I'm done. It's not even like the value and the cost is such a discrepancy. The value is better than anyone else is offering in the co-living space. The cost is a tiny fraction of what anyone else is paying or charging for anything like this. My man, thank you. The quote, you do not rise to the level of your goals. You fall to the level of your systems. I want to say that's a Tim Ferriss 4-hour work week quote. That's what I want to say. I think that's where I learned that one. And that is especially important because that was my goal, that I would not have to have my business completely collapse if I need to take time off to travel, to have the birth of my baby and enjoy literally nonstop time with him and my baby girl. It just the beautifulness of that experience. Like, no. All right, let's see. Oh yeah. Oh, it was James Clear, Atomic Habits. Even better. That's right. There you go. All right, let's see. Taxes. Oh, the K Martinez. I wish I knew. My man, my girl, my friend. All right, taxes. As a real estate investor, you don't have to pay any taxes. If you understand at a decent level taxes, you don't even understand at a very great level. Real estate income is basically tax-free. Why do I say that? Because you get a lot of paper losses, the depreciation that comes from the property itself, losing value, which we all know real estate goes up in value, but the IRS allows us to assume that it's losing value every single month or every single year. And if you're doing renovations and things like that, all your expenses, all of that are deductions. All of that typically, it exceeds the income you're generating on a property, and you're getting tax-free income. So you can, with almost certainty, assume that you're paying literally zero taxes on any of your real estate investing income. That's the biggest discrepancy between if I made $100,000 through real estate versus $100,000 through my job. By the time I get my income from my job, I've got $50,000, $60,000 left, right? Especially in California. For real estate, I'm keeping that $100,000. It's tax-free, right? That's the simplest way to put it. If you need a great CPA, right, a tax person to help you ensure that you're paying little to no taxes, I got you. Just reach out to me. I will help you, connect you with the guy that I use, and they offer a variety of financial services to make your starting place and your growing and scaling for the financial aspects of your business very easy because they just follow our blueprint. So yeah, just if you're assuming $100,000 or $10,000 a month, assume that's tax-free income. And if you need to buy, let's say you're at $10,000 a month and you're paying $1,000 of it to taxes, just fake numbers, 10% of it to taxes. Great. You need to buy one more property, two more properties. It's all right. You've got the systems to be able to do this over and over again. It's the process of iterating and improving along the journey because nothing is going to be exactly as you anticipated it. You want to work towards a path, your North Star, and execute the right systems and actions to achieve that. Right. But understand that things are going to vary a little bit. Maybe one property is generating you $1,500 a month. Maybe you are paying a little bit of taxes. Maybe you bought a small multifamily that's generating you more, like whatever, right? It's going to change a little bit, but understand that you're working towards this goal and you're developing the right systems to consistently implement this. Reverse engineering. Yes, ma'am. What softwares do we use, like CRM automation? We'll talk about all that. This is a loaded question because you're talking about deals. We're talking about tenants, all that stuff. We'll talk about that during the next session because that's more of next session. Goal is $10,000 per month, Jerry. I love that. Equity owner operator. Well, my friend, I've got plenty of equity ownership opportunities for you. So just, I've got my form for you. For anyone that wants to just be a partner, let me and my team do everything and you get to own assets with us and we're the ones doing all the work. Great. You got it here. There's the link. Fill that out and I will keep you in the loop when we're doing deals. I do fractional raises, although the majority of money I've raised has not been through fractional, but I did raise a lot. I just learned the fourth thing, I just learned that I just won an award or something for fractional for raising a bunch of money on there. I got it while I was at the hospital, so I wasn't really looking at it. I'll look at it sometime this week. Is a Mori method good for a person just starting out? Jerry, it depends. It's a more complicated strategy that has a lot of steps, and it can be a great one. It was the first creative deal I ever did, and I didn't even understand the process when I was doing it. I just understood that I wanted to leverage the bank and the bank's money and the seller's equity, so I paid no money out of pocket after house hacking 2 properties. So I made it happen, and it was very successful. But there are a lot of steps for it. Just understand that you're going to need to understand that, get a great transaction coordinator, make sure the seller is fully on board with it. You're not going to really make sure that the lender's on board with it necessarily, but you're going to make sure that it works in the scheme of your lender. And there's a lot of additional analysis you have to do to make sure that everything is handled well. I've got a training on it actually a few weeks ago for the underwriting session. We did a Morby method deal. Actually, we've done 2 now for the CoLiving underwriting session. It might've been the first deal analysis one where we showcased a Morby method for CoLiving and the key considerations to think of. Deal structure, Jamie, we're going to have to wait a little bit later. I apologize. Wow. Devin. Yeah, absolutely, brother. Either go to the underwriting sessions or I can hop in as well to the next one. $3,000 CoLiving property that'll generate over $3,000 of CoLiving income. That's awesome. And I know my project manager looked at this deal and she said she really liked this deal and your plan for it. So that's awesome. Yeah. I realizing now I should stop wholesaling and start buying doors. Yes. But there is a time for wholesaling. And if your goal is literally active income as a necessity or a skill development, great. I understand that. That makes sense when wholesaling makes sense because buying assets is great, but you can make a $10,000 assignment fee where it could take you several months to get that same amount of income through owning an actual property. You're also building wealth and all that other stuff, but you need to put money down to then get money back through owning assets. For wholesaling, it's lower cost to do so. Or my favorite strategy instead of wholesaling is actually bird dogging. I got trainings and videos on that for you guys. Oh my God, you guys are awesome. Yep, guys, come to me. I already did and sent you the deal. Great. Awesome. So great. All right, guys, I appreciate you. Oh, you want the link? Here. You need to go to Wealth Through Real Estate first. I'm going to show you guys one more time very quickly. You need to go through Wealth Through Real Estate first. I see it's my Instagram people. Yeah, that is different. It is more difficult. And I think we've already surpassed the goal, but I will allow until I finish this live stream and then I'll change it back. The pricing to the 197. Because I think we've passed our 100 founders. All right. So you need to join Wealth Through Real Estate, my free community, right? There's free courses and tools and all that other stuff for you guys in here, right? The A to Z CoLiving community, right? So this is what it will look like for you. For you, you'll have to unlock it if you're not part of it. You click on that and you just click unlock with VIP and you upgrade to VIP. This price literally by the time you watch the replay is going to be $197 a month. So sorry for you guys. Here's the actual link to just go straight there if you're already in Wealth Through Real Estate. You need to go through Wealth Through Real Estate first to then be able to sign up for this. This is only a necessity because I give away stuff for free. If I had just only a paid course, that'd be different. I could just send you a link directly, but I want to give a ton of stuff away for free. That's why I have it listed this way. Don't worry about this middle one. Don't even sign up for it. It's going to be canceled. I'm just going to give all this stuff away for free. And then this is going to go up to 187 for the CoLiving course. Once again, whether you sign up for 97, 187, whatever, it's a freaking steal in the grand scheme of things. So with that, I appreciate you guys. Shoot, honestly, think about it. $1,000 a month, $2,000 a month, $3,000 a month, one single CoLiving deal will get you multiples of your amount invested in this. One single one. Absurd. Absurd. All right, friends. I appreciate you guys. I'll see y'all next week for part 2. Right? Figure out your vision and the financial amount needed for that. Reverse engineer path. Leverage the trainings here. The blueprint to financial freedom to do so. right? I even have my free budget, not free, I guess, but my budget and net worth tracker is in here. So you can leverage it and define your actual path to financial freedom. And I'll see you guys next session.